My name is Prashant Dhewaju. I'm working as a technical lead at Thakral One, Nepal, and I'm also the MVP for the Office app and services. So basically, I just chose the topic called Microsoft Forms. So I think this is one of the one application that we have been always ignoring. So if we say if we talk about the forms, we know like it is over there, but we have never used it in the complete way. So we were not able to utilize the Microsoft Form on the optimum way. So that's why I choose the topic Microsoft Form on this session. So what's the Microsoft Form? So that is the question that we get. We know like in a regular day, the forms is a kind of a thing that we fill for any kind of application. So if we talk about like I need to apply for something, we say like, okay, we need to fill a form. So Microsoft Form is similar to that. So that used to be a digital or the analog forms. So over here, Microsoft Form is a digital form. So what we can do with the forms, we can do a surveys, we can do a quiz, we can do a poll. So whatever the necessary thing we do have. Even what we can do is like we can make attendance, we can make a kind of a query thing. So a lot of things we can do with the forms. So with the forms, we do have a two type of forms for now. One is Microsoft Form Basic. So Basic Form is available for everyone. So if you do have an Outlook account, you can easily access the Microsoft Form. Even for the Office 365 users, they do have a Microsoft Forms and Microsoft Forms Pro. So when there comes a two different product, I wanted to give you a little bit of brief, like what is the difference between Microsoft Form Basic and Microsoft Forms Pro. So here in this slide, you can see like the Microsoft Form is basically on staying on a single form and just collecting the data, whereas the Forms Pros goes behind the collecting of data or doing a survey. You do have a certain kind of automation, a certain kind of integration with the different applications. So as you have been hearing about a lot of on the Microsoft Dynamics. So Form Pro could be useful for us to integrate our Dynamics with the Microsoft Forms survey. So going on the more detail about the Forms Pro. So one of our MVP, Megan Walker. So he had done detailed research on this thing, like what is available on the basic form and the Pro. So let me show you a bit small thing on the forms. So if you can see, this is my Outlook account. So I do have something called outlook.com. Okay. And if I go to my, let me go to the Office. So even though if we go to the office.com, we can easily go to the easily get all these application as the Office 365 application. So you can also get login into your Office app using your Outlook account. So this is my Outlook account where I get logged in. So I can easily have a form. So this is a free form with the Outlook account. Similarly, I do have something for the Office 365. Sorry, let me go to the Office 365. So this is the landing page. So this is the form. This is the basic form I do have. And also, this is the admin center from where I can get a Forms Pro. So let me check. So Forms Pro is a different license we need to assign to our tenant. So by default, it is not over there. By default, we'll just get the Microsoft Form. So that's why if you go and check in your tenant, you will not be able to see a Microsoft Form Pro USL. So this is not over there by default. If you want to add this license on your tenant, what you need to do is you need to go to the purchase service, and over here, search for the forms. So I'm just going to search for the form. So when I click over here, it will give me something like this, the Microsoft Form Pro USL, and it's a free. For those who do have an Office 365 tenant, Microsoft Forms Pro is a free of cost. You do not have to pay anything. But if you want to have some kind of add-on license, you need to pay something like this. So this is the cost that you need to pay, and it do have a varies with the survey you do for the organization. So the price may get varies with the survey you do with the organization, but for the Forms Pro, it's a basic and it's a free of cost. So if you want to assign a license of the Form Pro, first you need to add it into your tenant. So the one I did all here. So I have already assigned the license of Form Pro into my organization. And if I want to assign someone, so let me find myself over here. I can simply go over the license and assign it. So over here, I do have a Form Pro. So this is what. So I do have a 2 user. So one, this is an admin. So let me check in admin. So I don't have a Form Pro license assigned to this user. Okay, so I don't have a license assigned to user. So this user do have a basic. So if I go and check, so this user do have a basic Microsoft form that comes by default with the Office 365. Okay, this is the Office 365 default. And for the other user, what I have did was, so what I have did over here is I have assigned the Form Pro license. So I have assigned the Form Pro license. And what I have done, the next thing over here is I removed the license of the default Microsoft form. Okay, sorry, it's still over there. So I'm just going to use the both over here. So what is the difference between the forms and the Microsoft Form Pro? So the theory we have gone through. So let us go with the demo. Like, what is the difference between these two things? So when we were talking about the basic form, and the Microsoft Forms, so this is what we do see on the Form Pro. So if I have been assigned with the Form Pro license, I will be able to see Forms Pro. And if I am not assigned with the license of Microsoft Forms Pro, so it will just appear as a Forms. Okay, and I get the option like create a new form. Over here, I didn't get any option to create a Microsoft Forms Pro, whereas to the user to whom I have assigned the Forms Pro, he will be going to get an option called New Forms or create a new Form Pro survey. Also, with the icons, we can identify like this is a Form Pro and this is a normal form. So, let's create a new survey with the Pro. So it's quite easy. Okay. Let me wait for a while. So it is trying to get a permission, checking the permission. So if I do have or not. So this is my form, simple form. So is this the creation of form in the Form Pro or the basic form? It's the same. So let me say it's like a demo techWebinarNepal form. So I can just have a little bit of detail over here, like how it should look like, what is the font size, what is the picture that I want to keep over here. So I can have a different kind of things over here. So now it's a description over here. I have given the description. Now I want to add the list of questions that need to be addressed on the form. So I click on add. So it says like what kind of question I'm going to ask. So it's a ranking, like art, it's a score, it's a section, or a choice, or a text. So let me say I'm going to start with a text. So the basic idea on the form is like when I created a form or question with a name, I can also add a sentiment over here. So if there is some kind of forward using this answer, it should get alarm or something like that. So I can enable the sentiment. So whether this is a long answer, that means it goes on the paragraph, or a single line, I can choose over here. Over here, I can see like, is it required or not? If I feel it's required, I can click on required. So in the basic, we do not get a something like sentiment analysis. So if you go and check for the basic form, so let me show you. I'm going to create a new form over here. It's a basic form. So I'm going to create a new text. So you can see over here, there is nothing called sentiment. So it's not going to analyze the answer. Also over here, so do I have some kind of restriction over here? So like instead of alphabet, it should only give me a number. So let me go with the other question over here. So when I click on add new, so I say the name. So that's why it's giving me ideas of the question. So it says like, okay, you need to add organization, you need to add an email address, and you need to have a phone number. So I select all the matters over here, all the questions over here, and add selected. So when I do it, it will create an answer. So if I want to make a change on the question's answer, so I can do it something like this. So for the email, sentiment, it's required. Okay, organization is required. And in phone number, I don't want people to be typing alphabet over here. So I say like it's required, and there should be a restriction saying only numbers. Okay, so we can make a changes over here. So we can say only numbers. So that means the value over here will just be a number, not the alphabet. So if I have a more question, I can add over here saying like, okay, I want to go with a choice. Say, do you have an existing subscription? And when you have a question over here, it will give you a suggestion like what should be the options. It should be yes and no. And so should it be a multiple answer or a single answer? So that means a single choice or a multiple choice. You can make it over here. Also, would you like to make a choice or you want to keep it as a drop down? So if I say no drop down, let me preview this file, preview this form. So it will appear something like this. Okay. And if I say it's a drop down, it will appear something like this. So it's completely depend upon what we would like to solve. So I'd like to have another answer like what is your tenant address? I do have something like this. Okay, and it says like as a small answer. And again, let me create a question. Text. Do you want to continue with next? So I do have two questions over here. And what I want to do is like, if somebody says yes, then it should go to the question number 7. And if somebody says no, it should go to the question number 6. And I don't want to make them visible. So I do want to make them invisible for now, until and unless the person unless the person who is doing the survey chooses any answer. So let me go and check a preview. So if I see over here, until and unless this person chooses an answer, it should not get appear over here. So that means it's not going to get appear over here. So now with the form, we can create a conditions over here. So basically it says a branching. In terms of forms, it says a branching. So let me go on a branching. So there is called a branching rule. We can create a custom rule and say, let's say like demo branching. And here we can add the condition. So I'm going to add a condition. It's a question. So if equals to yes, if true, what should happen? If true, so question 7. If false, what should it show? Question Okay. Basically, if it says no, it's no. Oh, so I'm going to create something like this. So I saved it back, and let's do a preview. So I have done a few kind of rule. So if somebody says yes, it should ask a tenant address. If somebody says no, what should be a next subscription? So let me go and do a preview. So over here, if I say yes, and if I say no, okay, and it should also hide the question number 6. So that's going wrong. So what we can do, we can go on a branching. This is my rule, and add and hide question number this. Save. Get back to the branching, preview, yes and no. Sorry, it's not working. Somehow, okay, I did something wrong, so that's why it's not working. So somehow what we can do is we can do a branching over here, saying like, what happens if somebody chooses this answer? So according to the answer, we can do a manipulation on the forms. So this is what we were talking about the form. So this is a basic form anyone can do. But what if we can do automation on the form? So I do have a form called demo, something like this. I want to make sure like whoever fills this form should get a response from our end saying, thank you for submitting this form. And this form, whatever they just enter over here, should get stored in my Office 365 Excel. Okay. So before going, what we are going to do over here is we are going to introduce the Power Automate. So what's the Power Automate is? So what is the Power Automate? So Power Automate is a service that allow us to create a workflow between a different application in Office 365. Over here with the form, what we are going to do is we are going to create a form, and whoever submitted that form, so whatever they put the data inside that form should get stored on the Excel sheet. So that kind of automation we are trying to do. And we want to make a Excel sheet as per our requirement, and it should be automated. Okay, so let me get back to the Excel. So the first thing why we need to do over here is to create an Excel book. So let me say I'm going to create. So I'm all using the online platform. I'm not using anything on my desktop. It's all on the online. So what am I going to do is I'm going to create a field something like this. So over here I do have a name, organization, email, phone number. So I'm just going to create a column with the questions. So let me do it. So let me say like the first name, organization, then email, phone number, and let me go. So do we have existing subscription? I want to copy this one and keep it on the table. So then, sorry. And then I do have something called your tenant address. So I want to go with this over here. And there is a last question. Copy it. So this should be demo webinar, sorry, techWebinar 18. So I made a change on the file name as a demo techWebinar, and these are the columns that need to be addressed. So before we go and make it automate, what we need to do is we need to convert into the table. So I'm just going to convert it into the table so that we can understand like, okay, these are the things what we need to do. So over here, I do have a different columns and a different items. So I have created the forms where the people are going to fill the data. I have created the Excel sheet where the data should get stored. Okay, now I'm going to connect this form with this Excel sheet. So to make that possible, we can use the Microsoft Flow. So over here, in our Office 365, there is something called Power Automate. So Vijay Anand has already mentioned that we can do automation on the Office 365 with the internal apps as well as the external app. So over here, I'm doing for the internal app. So I'm trying to do automation. To do the automate, I'm going to the flow. I went to my flow. There is nothing for now, but I'm going to create a new one. So I'm just going to use a new template. Sorry, I'm going to use from the template. I'm not going to create a new blank one. I'm just going to use a template because I want to show you like there are more than 1,000 templates over here that you can use for your organization. If you feel like, okay, I don't require this one, I want to make some kind of changes, so you can do changes over here also. So if you see like there are a lot of templates available and I want to get specific with the fonts. So what I can do is like I can go over here and search for the font. So it will make me appear all the templates that are available for the fonts. Okay, so what I feel is like this one seems to be good for me because instead of SharePoint, I can remove this SharePoint and I can just make an entry for the Excel sheet. Or okay, over here I can just make an ad of the Excel sheet. So let me choose this one. So I want to send a response to the person who has submitted this form, as well as I want to store everything over here. So when this is getting prepared, let me get back to the form and show you something more. Okay, so this is the form that we created. Sorry, I created, and I feel like I want to have a collaboration. I want to have a collaboration with someone else to create a form. So I just created this one and I'm not feeling quite well. So I want somebody to help me. So what I can do is I can share the link to someone else to help me. So with this link, somebody could help me to make some kind of changes on this form. So that means I can ask somebody inside my organization to help me to collaborate or to make an edit on this form. Okay, so whatever the form we share, let me show you. It will appear over here, shared with me. So this is the form that we were using for the collaboration. So over here you can see like who can access. So the collaboration is with Jay and me. So we two were able to make a changes on this form. Okay, so that kind of configuration we can also share with our colleague to make this form more relevant. We can make a change on the theme and we can add our custom images over here. We can do a setting like who can fill this form. So if you feel like, okay, only the people inside my organization should be able to fill this form. So we can say only the people inside my organization. Or if you feel like, okay, I want to give this form to be accessible by anyone outside my organization, inside and outside my organization. So you can choose anyone. Or if you feel like, okay, I want to stop the survey by end date. So we can say like, we can define a date where this link should get expired or expire when the number reaches something like this. Okay, or expire after a number of days. So you can define all those things over here, saying like, okay, if any of these things get triggered, so the form link should get expired. It should get no more appear in the cloud. So let me get back to the forms. So I think it's okay. I'm going to continue. So it's working. So behind the scene, it is going to create a workflow which I required. Okay, so I didn't want a condition for now. Okay, I'm just going to delete the condition. Okay, before deleting the condition, I want just to drag and drop it over here, and I'm just going to delete. So if you remember, Bijay Anand was saying something about the drag and drop, a very low level of skill you require to create this form. So this is what we were talking about. So I just create a template on which I said like we're talking about building a form over here. So if you can see over here, so I have got a template from where I was creating a form. If I go a drop down, it will say me like which form you want to work with. You want to do automation. So I choose the demo techWebinar 18 form. So this is what I do have. And then it says like take a unique value from this form with the responder's ID and need to send an email to the responder's email. So I just want to make a validation over here. So I'm just going to remove everything from here so that so I can do changes on my own. So I want to send an email to the email address. So whatever the email they provide me on this part, on this section, I need to send an email, a copy of email to that specific person. So I said something like this over here. And the subject should be response and the name. And body, thank you for submitting this form. And also I had told you earlier, what I want to do is I want to store all those data into my Excel sheet. So let me say I want to add a new step. I went to the Excel. So search for the Excel. So Excel Online, OneDrive. You can choose any of this thing. And I want to add a row. Sorry, that's the wrong icon I chose. Okay, add a row. I need to find add a row. Add a row into the table. It's signing in. It's creating. So this I just added it later on. So it's signing in into my Office Online and trying to check. So I want to go with the the Excel sheet that I just created, OneDrive for Business. On the document library OneDrive, the file should be this one, because if you remember, I just created this file all here, and I want to add a table. So the table should be table 1, because this is the table that I just created. And now when I selected the table 1, what should go with the column 1 to 7? So I can simply say name, and then after on the table 2 I do have organization. So I can simply select the organization, and table 3, I do have email phone. Okay, so table 3 I do have an email address. Table 4 I do have a phone number. Table 5 it says like, do you have an existing subscription? Table 6, 10 and address. Table 7 I'm going with this one. Okay, let me check a flow checker. So this flow checker will help us to understand if I do have any kind of loophole or not. So I'm going to check a flow. So it says like I do not have any errors or the warning. So I'm going to save it. Okay, now let me fill a form. Okay, over here let me open an email so that I can understand, like I can get an email So this is my email address. Okay. So I wanted to select this email address, but unfortunately I'm not getting over here. So let me try it again. Okay. So let me say admin. I wanted to have this one. Anyway, I wanted to copy this one, but it's not getting copied. Let me get copy from here, because I want to use a different email address while filling the form. I copied the email address and going back to the, I saved it, getting back, cancel, and sometime this happens because of the internet. So let me verify if everything goes good over here. Okay, that seems to be good. I'm going to the form and doing a testing preview. So name, Prashant, nation, a demo. So I do have an email address, something like this. Phone number, okay, 1234556. I should not be able to, if you can see it, I have kept the validation over here saying it should not be a letter. So I just keep the number. I say yes, and abc dot on microsoft.com. So this is what I do have an answer. So the asterisk means it's required. So I submit it. So this is the test submission. So it says thank you for submitting the request. So let me get back over here and check if any flow is over here or not. So I can go and check a flow. It says succeed. So let me see how it has been succeeded. So I can drill down. Whatever the data I have filled over there will get over here. So it says like, okay, I have kept a name Prashant, email address, something like this, organization demo. So this is the data I do have. And I also filled something on the Excel. So let me go to the Excel and check. Okay, it's over here. So whatever the data I have filled in the form, I'm able to see in my Excel sheet. Let me get back to the email and check if I do have any email over here or not. Okay. Discard. Okay. So I think I am getting something on email. So let me refresh it. I should be getting some sort of email over here. So it said it has been succeed. So that means I need to get some sort of email. Not at all. So it might be on the way.
Sir, so we have a question. Can we use the logic to set different emails?
Yes, we can use a logic to send a different emails. So instead of like using the same email address, we need to have some kind of data stored in our system that will allow us to send an email to the specific user. Not only that, I was on a certain point over there. I was talking about sending an email. Not only that, if we do have a proper arrangement of the users, saying like, let me get back to my teams. Okay, let me show you something over here. So I do have something called who. Okay, it's a feature of who. So who is manager of who? We can identify over here. So let me say who is manager, allow. I'm just going to allow it for a while. So it's signing in on my credential. So who is manager of Prashant? So I said like who is manager of Prashant? So it will just give me like my manager is someone. Okay, so if I want to who is, so it will just give me like who am I? Okay, my manager, my peers, to whom I'm working with, okay, and even the organogram. So how it goes with. Okay, if we do have something like managed on our Azure Active Directory, what we can do is like we can check a detail from our profile and pick our manager and automatically send that email to our manager saying, okay, this person is asking something like this. Would you like to give it or not? That could be a leave approval, or that could be a different thing. So we can make a kind of flow over here. Okay. So according to the line of manager we create on the Azure AD. We can keep a conditions. We can do a loop. Okay. So a lot of things we can do over here. Instead of sending data to the Excel, the one we did earlier, we can just send the data on into the SharePoint site also, saying, okay, these are the things. And then also we can create a delay. Like if you remember, we have created a form for this tech webinar. So if we feel like we need to do a feedback form, so we need to send a feedback form automatically. So what we can do, we just create a form on a Microsoft form, and then send an email to all the users separately when it's the time to send a feedback. So we can just delay it over here using something like this. So basically, this code is nothing more than the time and the a date and the time. So it's a date. Sorry, it's a date. And T means the time, and Z means the time zone. So I'm using the UTC over here. So UTC 1 o'clock, 1:30. Automatically the email should go to all the users for the feedback form. So that kind of flow we can create over here for the forms. So now, if we are talking about the forms, it was a simple form earlier. Earlier it was a simple form. Now we make this a responsive. We made this form a more into the life. And if we want to share this form to one-on-one person, we can even send it. So send it using the email, a Power Automate, embed, link, QR code. So there are different kind of methods we can use to send this form. Okay, meanwhile, let us check if we have got an email or not. So I don't think I have got an email. So it says like I do have audio conferencing or something like that, but I haven't received any email. So might be something went dark. So probably something went dark over here. Anyway, we should have got an email. And I think that is all for the slide. So if we do have any questions, we can go to the questions.
Yes, so there is a last question that talking about the logic. So if someone choose yes, send different email and different email if they choose no in the form.
Yes, we can do that one. So what we need to do over here is like we need to create a query. Okay, let me show you. I do have one. Okay, let me do an edit over here. So what I can do is I can create a conditions. Okay, so I can do a conditions. That one is the nice question we need to understand. Okay, and then you have an existing subscription is equal to yes. Okay, if it is equal to yes, you can send a different email. So send mail. So send mail. Okay, and if it's no, if this comes false, so send mail. So I do have a send mail option. Okay, so you can just send an email saying, okay, so if something is wrong, add a dynamic content, and let me, oh, sorry, I do have something wrong with email address. Okay, so we can have something like this over here. So let me get over here. So we can say something like this. So if yes, subject B, subject can be if yes and height, and if no, sorry, that's the mistake. So you can just give a content of your email. So if somebody says yes or no. So I think that's all of the questions we do have currently. Do you have anything more, Ajay?
No, sir. So yeah.
Is
So thank you, sir,
Power
for the
Automate part
wonderful
of Office
presentation.
365 package, or you need to procure it separately? Yes. So Power Automate is a part of Office 365. You don't need to purchase. So any subscription of Office 365 you purchase, you do have a Power Automate inbuilt over there. So if you go to your landing page, if you don't find on the landing page of the Office 365, you can go on all apps. So over there, you can see the Power Automate. Previously, it was Microsoft Flow, and currently it has been changed to the Power Automate.
Okay, sir. So yeah, we don't have any more question. So yeah, so we will be wrapping out. Thank you, Prashant sir, for your nice session on the Microsoft form. So how to automate the logics over there about the email things over there.